welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Gracie if you guys are new here. So about 5 years ago in 2020, I did my very first Disney college program. I was custodial in Animal Kingdom. And as we all know, 2020 was the year of COVID, the year that it all started. My Disney college program actually ended up only being 2 months because all of the DCP participants actually got sent home because of COVID. But after my first program, I did make a video where I went through my memory box from that first program and just talked about a bunch of different things that I had acquired during that program and what all of those different things meant to me. And I know that I have been finished with my second Disney college program for almost 2 years now, about 2 years. But I did stay with the company for almost a year after that. I do have a big box full of stuff from my time at Disney, and I thought I would just kind of go through some of it with you guys and show you what's in here. I have not opened this box up in a long time. I actually did open it around summertime last year because I ended up printing off like a bajillion photos and putting them in photo albums. I have big photo albums that are in here that are full of pictures from my time at Disney. But other than that, I really am not sure what's in here. I haven't looked in here in a while, so I thought it would be fun to go through it with you guys. So to start off, when you open up the box, we have the two big photo albums that I was mentioning that are literally full to the brim of photos from my college program and also my time, like part-time and full-time. This is basically the beginning of my second college program all the way until the end whenever I moved home. And they're literally completely full. I had to kind of pick and choose some of the pictures that I added in here. I'm not going to go through all of the photo albums just because most of these pictures live on my Instagram, and I think it's more fun to kind of go through the tangible items in this box, but I have another one of those photo albums, and I'm happy that I did that. That way I'll have those pictures to look back on. And then I have more pictures in here that did not fit in those photo albums, so there's a ton of photos that I'm happy that I'll be able to look back on. Okay, I'm just gonna start going through this. I have a Food and Wine Festival passport from 2022. I just like to keep little things like this. I have a Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. This was also from 2022. That was fun. I went to that. I hate that this is all bent up, but I have a Festival of Fantasy poster. If you did not know, I worked at Jungle Cruise, but I also worked parade and fireworks crowd control, so I pretty much got to see Festival of Fantasy every single day. And they were giving these out at one point in the utilidors, so I kept one. Oh, I forgot. I printed out literally all of my recognitions, I think. I'm pretty sure before I lost hub access, I went and printed them all out. I really need to keep these in a better state, that way they don't like wrinkle up. But whenever you're a cast member, at least this is how it was when I was there, you were able to recognize someone for their like outstanding performance or just like something that you saw them do. So it was just a nice way to recognize your fellow cast members, and I ended up printing off like every single one that I got. There's a bunch of them that are from like my coworkers, and they're called like 5 keys appreciations. Thank you for making a difference and helping us create an unforgettable experience. A lot of these are from safaris as well, but most of them are actually from other cast members. So I've got a whole stack of those, which I need to put into like a binder or a folder or something, that way they don't get messed up. I'm literally just gonna pull things out at random. I don't even know what this is. Oh, this is the U-Haul slip from when I had to rent a U-Haul when I moved out of Flamingo and into my first apartment like outside of DCP housing. So I have the U-Haul slip to remember that by and how much that costs, which is just silly. It's funny because I didn't start junk journaling until last year, but clearly I had the junk journal mindset because I kept literally everything. This one is super special. This is my script from Jungle Cruise, my very, very first script. So I mentioned in my video all about working at Jungle Cruise that you basically have to write down your entire script. They don't let you take home like the binder full of all of the jokes you could possibly use for each show scene. So during your training week, you actually go through the entire OG like operating guide and you write down the jokes that you want to use in your Jungle Cruise. So this is my entire first Jungle Cruise, and this is the actual script that I wrote down during training. So that is just so special, and I'm happy that I was able to keep this. Next, I have a lot of stuff from the 50th that they gave away at like iridescent evenings or just like in the tunnels in the utilidors. So this is a coin from the president of Walt Disney World, Jeff Volley, I think is how you say his name. We are the magic. Cast members are the reason the world's most magical celebration is possible. Thank you for all that you do. So this is just like a little coin keepsake. I have a bunch of these honorary like guest skipper cards that you could give to kids on your boats. So sometimes I would keep these in my pocket, and if there was a kid that was just like really vibing with me, or that I could obviously see was like having such a fun time, I would give them one of these little guest skipper cards. And I have a bunch of those randomly thrown in here. These are like cast member exclusive things, but I have a bunch of these telecasts. I believe a new telecast updates every 2 weeks. Yeah, every 2 weeks. I have one for Hollywood Studios. I'm pretty sure Hannah gave me one from Hollywood Studios because I did not work there. But I have a bunch from Magic Kingdom, and I'm pretty sure there are some Animal Kingdom ones in here as well. But these just have like the hours for that week, and different like food options, transportation options. This is supposed to be like a guide for you as a cast member to use to help guests in the park. If they have a question that you don't know the answer to, you can pull this out of your pocket and give an answer from it. Oh, I have a letter from my Nana that she wrote to me. She sent me some money just randomly for fun in the mail, and I saved this letter from her. This was August 2022, so I was halfway through my program. I have some random dining discounts that I guess didn't get used. So these are from the 2021 Disney Family Holiday Celebration. Cast members get these yearly. It's just a big pack full of like dining discounts. I'm pretty sure there's like a 30, 40, and 50, so it looks like I used the 50. And then snack coupons, and those always got used. I think I've used all of my snack coupons. Got a bunch of like little stickers in here. I have a lot of gifts from guests. This one says, "You are awesome. Thank you for making a difference." This was my VIP lanyard from my DCP program celebration in Animal Kingdom. This was a fun night. Basically all Disney College Program cast members were invited to Animal Kingdom for an after hours event where you could get unlimited food, unlimited snacks, all the rides were open, and it was just really, really fun. I have a little like welcome guide for the fireworks crowd control night for 4th of July in 2022. Like I said, I worked fireworks. This was a map of different positions you could be placed at during fireworks. There were some good ones and there were some bad ones, and most of the time we would get put in bad ones. Every now and then you'd get like a really easy position that didn't require much guest confrontation. A lot of time at fireworks there was some confrontation. I have a bunch of these maps still. This is from my friend Leslie for my 22nd birthday. She got me tickets to the Taylor Swift party at House of Blues. And this was like the way that she told me, was this like little ticket that she wrote out. So on the DCP, we had the opportunity to sign up for backstage tours, whether that was like online through the main like hub or through like your specific location. And this one was from my specific location. So a big group of us at Jungle actually got to do a Kilimanjaro Safaris tour, which is funny because about a year later, I ended up working there. At the very beginning of my program, you were still wearing masks, so I have some Disney masks that these never ended up getting worn because that requirement literally ended, I'm pretty sure, the week of my training, so we didn't have to wear them. So I'm pretty sure these are unused masks, but it's just funny, and I keep it in here. Oh, I have a couple of these, I'm pretty sure. These drawings here were made by a guest who actually was also a Disney College Program participant later on, Manny Cruz. If you work at Disney, it's very likely that you might have one of these drawings because Manny used to go around carrying like a binder full of drawings, and he was so talented. And so I have a couple of those in here from him. I've got another like lanyard. This one was for the Iridescent Evenings for the 50th celebration, where cast members actually got to go into the park for like another after hours event. And you could bring a guest, and it was just a way to like celebrate the 50th. I've got more stickers. This is a letter from Leslie. Leslie was always so good at writing letters to everyone, and I kept all of her letters. More photos. Here's Leslie right here. This is Leslie here just for reference. I have more telecasts. I've got a couple of these Jungle Cruise safari sacks. They rolled these out like halfway into my college program at Jungle, where it was like fully a position that you could be placed at while you were working, where your job was solely to pass out these little Ziploc bags. If you'll remember, a while ago, Ziploc actually sponsored Splash Mountain. But then at some point they started sponsoring the Jungle Cruise, and I'm not sure if they still do, but we would give out these Ziploc bags, and it's pretty cute. It's like a little safari sack, and on it there's some jokes. The survival sack that does it all, now featuring the exclusive Skipper Zipper, holds everything imaginable if you only imagine small things, mostly backside of water resistant. This was just a fun thing to remember. A fan. I need to get this out for our trip. This looks like a birthday card. I've got a couple of these Gideon's like postcards in here. If you have been to Disney Springs, then you probably know what Gideon's is, and every month they have a new like postcard that comes out that just tells like their exclusive flavors. And I've got a couple of these in here. At one point I tried collecting them all, but then I just never made it to Disney Springs that often. So I've got a couple in here. This one was from probably March of 2022. I've got a Chef Mickey's postcard from when I went to Chef Mickey's at one point. This is the map from the Iridescent Evenings After Hours. Another card from Leslie. We've got another drawing from Manny. This one is Fantasmic. The last one was Tarzan. This is from my friend Kelly. This was after I'd transferred part-time at the Crystal Palace and I was having a tough time. So she sent this in the mail, sending you a little sunshine. This isn't from my college program. This is when I was part-time at the Crystal Palace, but this is a map of the restaurant. And during training, you had to memorize this entire map because the ticket on it, whenever you would go to greet guests and bring them to their table, would just have their last name and then the table number that they sat at. So you would have to go get them and then take them to that specific number table. And the Crystal Palace has lots of tables, so I had to just memorize all of the tables so that I could accurately seat guests. Speaking of Crystal Palace, I have one of these Friendship Day celebration postcards that they gave out during brunch. This is really special. It's literally falling apart. I might should take it to work. I work at the library and we have like special binding glue that I can bind this back up with. But this was my goodbye book, and something kind of unique I feel like that I did is I got a goodbye book from the very beginning of my program, and I would give it to people that were leaving. So I would bring this in, and when someone would leave from my program, they would sign it. And then, of course, when I was transferring to a new location or when I eventually moved home, I got a lot of people to sign it. So this just has messages from a bunch of people that I worked with during my time at Disney. It's very common to have a goodbye book, but I wanted to have people that were leaving before me sign it, so that's why I got one at the beginning. This is a drawing from the animation experience at Animal Kingdom. It looks like we drew Thumper. Not too bad. This is a postcard that Skipper Julia sent me in the mail. That's sweet. This is a postcard that I must have purchased and I never put anywhere. It's still in the packaging, but it's a Jungle Cruise postcard, but it looks like I never did anything with it, so I might should do something with that. I've got another Ziploc bag. Okay. I've got a map from the 2022 Halloween party. I have lots of name tags in here, and you'll notice that most of these name tags actually don't have my name on them. So whenever you would forget your name tag, you could get one from costuming, and it usually didn't say your name. If you got lucky, it would say your name. You got lucky if it even was a girl's name. Most of the time, it was just a random one they pulled out of a box and handed to you. And you're supposed to turn them back in, but it looks like I have collected a bunch of them. I do have some that say my name. So here is my 50th one that has like my city on it. And here is like the last name tag I wore. This is when they changed the look of them after the 50th. So it's got my name and my city. And then I have a bunch of ones that don't say my name that I wore at one point in time. I have Daxon from Cape Coral, Florida. Abigail from Ohio State University. And Chelsea from St. Cloud, Florida. So I wore all of these at one point when I forgot my name tag. These are ornaments from the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. So whenever I have a Christmas tree, I can put these on there. I have a bunch of these little like swell cards in here. They're like punch cards because basically there's like a food court area sort of in the parks for like cast members. And there was such thing as getting a swell choice meal, which was just basically like a healthier option that they had that you could get. And they were a lot cheaper too. They were like $3 or something for a swell choice meal. So I would get those a lot. And then if you filled up this punch card, you actually got one for free. So I have bunches of those in there. I've got a pin from Disney Plus Day. There used to be a vlog of Disney Plus Day on my channel, but it was during that previous season of my life, so it is now privated. But sometimes I go back and watch that one, so this is like a fun little memory. Looks like I have some birthday pins. I've got a couple birthday pins in here. This is a pin from Animal Kingdom that they gave us on like National Corn Day when I worked at Safaris, because if you know, right outside of Safaris there's this little area where you can get this yummy street corn. I'm pretty sure I wore this on like my backpack when I worked at Safaris. This is a Disney Conservation Fund pin that I used to wear on my costume when I worked at Safaris because I talked a lot about conservation when I worked there. I have a lot of those different random 50th things in here. This is my skipper bracelet. It is a tradition when you work at Jungle to get one of these skipper bracelets. Basically what the tradition is when you become a new skipper, you go with a skipper that already has their skipper bracelet to like Animal Kingdom or Disney Springs, or I think Epcot does these too, and you get one of these bracelets. It's this exact style, like the braided sides, and you get skipper engraved into it. And so this is mine. I'm pretty sure it's like welded together. I could not get it separated if I tried. But this is my original bracelet. I never got an extra or a backup or anything like that. And this is just a fun memory because when I worked at Jungle, everyone wore them. Pretty much everyone wears them. So if you ever go to Jungle, look at people's wrists and you may see this skipper bracelets on them because it's a tradition and everyone likes to wear them. Sometimes you'll also see them like hooked on the belt loops of skippers. So look out for those. We're getting to the end here. This was a gift from another DCP participant, Avery. And this is really special. This is a little teeny tiny 3D printed jungle boat. I don't know if you can see that super well, but it's a 3D printed jungle boat. And a cast member that worked at Jungle, his name's Brody, he was all about 3D printing. And he wasn't my trainer, but it was a tradition of his to give his trainees one of these little jungle boats. But he like basically was my trainer. Basically, he was training my friends Leslie and Peter at the same time that I was getting trained. And I had a little bit of troubles with my trainer, so he honestly ended up training me for a lot of my training. So he wanted to give me one of the jungle boats as well, since I was like an honorary trainee. I don't think I have it in here. I don't know where, I must have lost the other thing that he 3D printed, but he gave a lot of us a little 3D printed, like little thing that would go on your belt loop that you could put your mic into if you had your own mic. I never had my own mic at Jungle. I did have my own mic at Safaris, but it didn't work for the Safari mic. And this is really special as well. This is the Kilimanjaro Safaris Expedition Safari Field Guide. And unlike at Jungle, at Safaris, you actually could take home the field guide full of all of the facts about all of the animals on the reserve. And I basically went through and for each animal highlighted the facts that I wanted to say. I probably ended up saying like different ones as my time went on throughout my time at Safaris. This was my initial like spiel that I would say, and I had all of these highlighted. And during your training, you have to memorize at least 2 facts per animal and be able to deliver that during your spiel. And then also on the back, there's, oh man, this is like bringing me back. Another trainer actually printed out like fillers for, this was like for load 3 where you would load like a wheelchair. So there's fillers for that. There's fillers where you could talk about Rafiki's Planet Watch, Festival of the Lion King, conservation. And then this is like actually printed out fillers of different Safari Guides spiels. And then I ended up going and writing down my opening and my closing, I think. Yeah, my opening and closing of my Safari is in here. So that's really special to have. Oh, another name tag. This is my first one that I ever got, and it has my college on it. And this one, fun fact, actually broke. Like the back of it broke off where it has like the safety pin. And my leader actually came in clutch and put a magnet on the back of this one. So I'm not really sure how he did it, but he took off the back of the other one and gave me a magnet, and I ended up loving this. I loved that it was magnetic. So I wish my other ones were like this, but I used this one until I got one of my new ones. And the last thing that I'm going to show, obviously I showed stuff from like my whole time at Disney, not just my college program. This is my certificate for completing my training at Kilimanjaro Safaris, and it's really sweet the way that they do this. They ask you your favorite animal, and mine was the okapi, and they have certificates for all of the animals on the reserve, so they look different. They're not all the okapi. I picked that one. And they laminate it, and my trainer decorated it for me. And then they actually take your Earning My Ears ribbon that you wear on your name tag, and they laminate that into the certificate. So this is just like a really nice keepsake to be able to have. So I completed my training on May 11th, 2023. And it was the hardest training I've ever done in my whole entire life. Spoiler alert for my safaris video whenever I make that one. But yeah, it was tough. So this is that certificate from that. But there's a couple other random things in here, but nothing too noteworthy. So that was really fun going through my memory box from my time at Disney World. I miss it so much. I've been missing it a lot more lately, I think because I'm about to go on vacation to Disney, and I haven't been since I left, honestly. I went on one trip, but it was like 2 weeks after I moved home, so it didn't really feel like I had been home, if that makes sense. I'm so glad that I kept all of this random stuff that I can go through and just remember my time at Disney by. It was such a special time in my life, and I can't wait to go on vacation. And I remember when one of my really sweet and dear friends, Tori, came to visit me after her college program had already ended. At that point, I didn't think I was going to be moving home anytime soon. But I remember she was sitting like basically crying on my bed about how much she missed it. And I remember telling her that it's just so special that we have Disney and that we have this place that even after we move home, we can come back to, and all of those memories just come flooding back. And this memory box is partly that for me. It's just so special to be able to have and look back on all of these fond memories. And I know I'm going to be so emotional when I go on my trip in just a few short weeks, but I cannot wait. I'm so excited. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. I would love it if you would subscribe and turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss an upload from me. But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!